Hello, welcome again to Knitting in Switzerland. This is episode 5 or 4. Oops, I have to check that. Well, one of those. Maybe 6. No, I think 5. Well, anyway, it doesn't matter that much. Welcome. I am Inge and I'm Dutch and I'm living in central Switzerland with my family, my partner and my 2 daughters, 4 and a 10-year-old. And I am enjoying life here and I enjoy everything related to yarn as well. So I love knitting, I love crochet, I love being together with knitters, I love going to knitting events, I love organizing knitting meetups and events, and this is my place where I share my passion about all these things with you. It's been great, really great, fantastic, wow, overwhelming almost to see how many people have been watching this channel for the last couple of weeks. I also got loads of new followers, which is obviously really nice because you really get a feeling that you do something not just for yourself, but also to enjoy other people and that others are enjoying it. And that's, of course, that's just really nice. And so, yes, please let me know if you enjoy this podcast by following me on YouTube or following me on Instagram or whatever. One of the other channels, like the regular channels. It's just great to see that you are enjoying this, and it's nice to see that there's people from all over the world enjoying this. I'm hot actually. You see my glasses coming up. I'm wearing too much yarn and wool. Just taking off one layer. I will talk about this later, what I'm wearing. But I just wanted to say thank you again for everybody who's watching and enjoying this and who lets me know that they enjoy it. So it's winter. It's a gray day today. So I'm using natural light. I hope, natural light from the front and artificial light from the back. I hope the lighting is good today. It's a gray day. It's warmer again. We used to have like below 0 the last 2 weeks. There was a lot of snow, and I have some nice images of snow hikes, which I will insert, of course, in this episode then as well. But today is not so cold, so I think that's why I'm also sweating now, because I'm still wearing 2 woolen layers as if it is cold, and then all of a sudden it's now 8 or 9 degrees outside and raining. So it's a totally shift of weather, and tomorrow it will be freezing again. So it's one day above 0, and then tomorrow it will be cold again. So it's just something we have to adapt to here in Switzerland. You can really have, we always say, you can have 4 seasons in one day. Even you can have days where it snows, you have sunshine, you have rain, you have wind, you have everything. And also within a couple of days the weather can change drastically. You can have like 15 degrees difference between degrees Celsius. I mean, at least you can have 15 degrees Celsius difference within one day to the next day. So it's always a challenge to wear the right clothes, and especially also give the kids the right clothes for in the morning for that day. Like, do you need your winter jacket and your hats and your gloves and your skiing trousers over your normal clothes, or can you just go out with your jeans and normal shoes? Or it's always a challenge to have them send them out in the right clothes. Well, anyway, that's not what I'm should be talking about. I guess I guess you're here more also for the yarn stories and wool stories. So quickly, what I was wearing is my Letho cardigan. I quickly put it on again, but I will remove because it's really warm. You can see my glasses are still damped. So this is the Letho cardigan I knitted last year. It's a design by Natasha Hornby, Moonstruck knits. I've been talking about this Letho already a lot in the previous episodes. I really, really enjoy it. It's really nice and warm and comfortable. It's a really nice design. It's really nice to knit. It's fun because it has all these different design features in it. And at the same time, now that it's finished, I love wearing it because it's a superb top layer which you can put on like on top of everything. It looks great on jeans. It can go over any other sweater or thing or top you're wearing. If it's not too cold, you can even wear it as a jacket outside. So I really, really love it. I wear it a lot. I made it in BC Yarn Loch Lomond and held that together with a mohair from Bichet Bouche. And I think the combination with the mohair makes it so hot. So I'm taking it off again to show what I'm wearing underneath, because these are the days that I can wear 2 layers of wool on top of each other, which I really like. This is my Ellie top. I knitted this also last spring. It's a design, I'm going to show you. I really love these lines here. It's a design by Simona Rust. She's a Swiss knitwear designer. She's living in Zurich and she's on the internet known as Rust Knitwear. She's a brilliant designer too. I love her broken rib. She has a lot of broken rib designs. And this one particularly, I knitted it in a silk wool blend from Wol met Verve, a Dutch indie dyer. And when I finished it, it was like, ooh, it's way too warm for summer, because it's obviously has a wool percentage in it. And I also realized that because of the silk, it was kind of hanging and the V-neck became lower and lower. So it was, for me in summer, I thought it was a bit too open here, let's say. So but now I realize I'm wearing it a lot in winter as an extra layer. So on top of a black top, like I'm doing today, for example. It's a brilliant extra layer, and I didn't realize that you can wear your summer knits in winter, and that's just amazing because that creates a lot more opportunities. So actually, I'm thinking of making another one of these. She recently also published a design which has the same top, but then with short sleeves or long sleeves, whatever you want. So I might also make one of those. But yeah, this is one of the things on my long list of things that I want to make. So I don't know when that will come, but definitely I recommend this design because it's an all year round piece. And who thought of that? My Letho I cannot wear all year round, although on a late cold summer evening you can still wear this, of course, as well. But this is at least more weather depending to wear than this one. So this can go in like high summer until deep winter like we are now. So I'm happy with these 2 pieces. Okay, what I have to tell you today is I have 1 finished object. Let's start with that. And then I have some whips where I'm working on, and I will also give you an update on my yarn bombing project, because apart from my own knitting, my household, my work, I'm also doing organizing a big yarn bombing project here in the community in our valley. We call it a community yarn art, because it's like community art. We do it with the community for the community. And for those of you who don't know about yarn bombing, I will tell you more about that later in the episode. And then I will tell in the end, I will also say something about my upcoming retreat, which I'm organizing, and how you can pre-register for that, and how far I am with the preparations and getting the program together. So lots of things to talk about. Let's start with the finished object. I know Christmas is over and New Year's over and we're moving towards the next season, but this was my latest finished object. This is a Christmas stocking that I knit during Advent. It was an Advent project designed by Arne and Carlos, the Norwegian knitwear designers. They had this Advent project on their website. And from the 1st of December to the 24th of December, they published every day 6 rows. So we started with the toe, and every day we knitted 6 rows. So you also didn't know what was coming up. You only saw the 6 rows of that day, and then the next day you would get another 6 rows, and like that. And then December 8 and 9 you had to knit the heel, and then it went on and on and on up till December 24th. It was for me a very good Advent project because it's a small one. It's something you can achieve easily. Even if you skip one day, you can still like catch up again the next day, because you only have to knit in 12 rows, and 12 rows of one sock is still pretty doable, I would say. So I loved it, because I know previous years I've been doing other Advent knitting projects, and then sometimes you have to knit up like a 10 gram, a 15 gram, or even a 20 gram yarn, sock yarn ball to keep up with the project, and that often didn't match with my daily life in December, I would say. So this was a very good one. You only have to make one sock because it's a Christmas stocking, and Christmas stockings obviously normally you only have one of the same. I'm in the Netherlands, we don't have this tradition of Christmas stockings to put presents in them or something, but still I like them as decoration. So I thought for Christmas decoration it's just nice to have an extra item. And I think I showed you already last time also some of the bits. So there's these little hearts, and then other snowflake types. Then there's this dancing around the Christmas tree, which is apparently a typical Norwegian or Scandinavian tradition. And then there's this little trees or candles, wherever you see in them. And then there's the ribbing. So I finished it just on the 24th, so just before Christmas. We were gone over Christmas, so we didn't really use it, or we didn't enjoy it because we went on holidays. But when I came back in January, I blocked it and dried it. So now it's ready to show off to you and ready to use this December. So I will fold it up and put it in my box with all the Christmas decorations, which is because the other decorations are already taken down. And I will use it next year. But it's a really nice design. I'm really happy with it. The yarn I used were 3 balls, so a dark green, burgundy red, I would say, and a white from it's the 7 Brothers from Novita. It's a Finnish yarn wool yarn brand, and they have been I would say conquering the European market. And in the Netherlands, a lot of yarn stores started selling Novita the last couple of years. And it's not my favorite
I would not use it for garments, but for these kind of accessoires, it's perfect. It's nice price quality combination. And so for these kind of things, it's brilliant. They have this is a kind of DK sock yarn, so there's nylon and wool in it. The only thing what I noticed is when I was wetting the Christmas stocking for the blocking, I put it just in water, and normally I would let it soak for like 20 minutes in water before I would take it out and dry. But I was watching, and within seconds after I've put water in it, I could see that the red, I don't know if you can see it very well. Focus, please focus. You can see that the red was a little, like there were some red hairs or fibers moving towards the white areas. Maybe you can see it better here. Let's focus. That's difficult to see. But anyway, so I saw that the red fibers were moving towards white areas, and I thought, ooh, I don't want that. So I took it out like immediately. So it was only in water for 30 seconds. So I don't know what would happen if you would do this color contrast with the white and the red, and you would really wash it as if you would do a garment with this kind of color work and wash it. I don't know what would happen then. The green seems to be more stable. It's the red color that really moves around in the white, I would say. Maybe it was because I didn't put any soap or anything in the water. It was just plain water. I heard that if you put in soap, sometimes the colors are more stable. Yeah, so I won't draw any conclusions out of this. I don't want to, but it's just something that I noticed when I was doing this. So another reason for me not to use this on yarn on a garment, especially, well, not a color work garment, if you put so much effort in it, and it will, if it then bleeds afterwards, that's obviously always very sad. Yeah, so that's my Christmas stocking. One more look. All the way up. Okay, so one finished project. Put it back there. Oops. Okay. Then what am I working on? Something I showed you already last time was my cardigan. The cardigan I'm knitting for my daughter, my 4-year-old. She sees me knitting all the time, and I knitted her socks and also for the other daughter. But the 4-year-old is really interested in knitwear, and she asked me to knit her a cardigan. And so together we looked at designs and at colors, and we decided to knit, or I decided in the end, with her approval, to knit a cardigan designed by Knitting for Olive. It's the Daisy cardigan. Quickly, I have the pattern here. It's in my, obviously in a knitting bag, so it's a bit, it's not a nice paper anymore, but there you can see the pattern. It's a children's cardigan with these nice little daisies on it. She picked the colors plump and wild berries. So this is the color wild berries. This is the merino from Knitting for Olive. This is wild berries, really nice pink, I would say. And I'm combining that with the mohair of plump, because I think this is the only color in the merino that does not exist in a mohair version at Knitting for Olive. So it's a different colorway, but I like them very much together. But you can see there's a slightly difference in the color, not only in the material but also in the color. But they go very well together. And I have been knitting on this over the holidays. I'll show you. I'm now in the middle of a row of an arm, which is obviously not so handy. But I finished the body. So you knit it, and while knitting, you already make the how do you call it? The hearts of the flowers. You know, the middle bits of the flowers. So you knit them as bulbs. Bubbles. It's the word I was looking for. You knit them as bubbles on the body and on the arms, and then at the end you stitch the petals of the flowers around it. So when you're finished, you stitch that. The design asks for yellow flower hearts and white petals around it, but my daughter wanted the other way around. So I'm making white heart, so flower hearts, what's the right word? I don't remember, like the middle bit of the flower. And then I would make yellow petals around it. And still have to figure out how I have to do that, but there is apparently an instruction video in the pattern which I have not looked at yet. So we'll have to figure out, I guess I figure out how that works, and I guess I can do that. But it will be the first time that I'm doing some embroidery on knitwear. So that's a kind of a fun thing I look forward to. The bottom band is knit while knitting, and you also even knit the buttonholes while knitting. So these stitch markers are where my buttonholes are. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 buttons planned. And so body is done. Now working on the first arm. I've set myself a goal because we're invited for a wedding end of March, and I promised her that this cardigan would be ready so she could wear it on the wedding. So I guess that's doable. 2 more months to make 2 arms, 2 sleeves of a cardigan for a child. She's only 4 years old, but she's pretty tall, so I'm making the size 6 to 8, the biggest size in the pattern, because I thought if it's too big, that's fine, and then at least she can wear it a bit longer than if I would make a size for a 4-year-old. It would already be too small, and I would love her to wear this definitely also next winter. Yeah, and she's growing quite fast, so yeah, I thought better be too big than too small. The material is absolutely lovely, soft. She likes it. When I was trying it on, she said, "Oh, this is so soft, mommy. That's so nice." So I really enjoy working with this yarn. It's a dream actually to work with. It's so smooth, so soft, and yeah, can't wait to be finished. I must say that knitting sleeves is not my favorite. So I feel often that when I finish the body of something, then I'm like, oh yeah, I have to do the sleeves. I guess I'm not the only knitter in the world who has that issue. So I force myself to knit, let's say, half an hour at least per day on a sleeve, so that the sleeves will slowly at least but continue growing. And then the rest of my knitting time, I knit on other things or crochet on other things. And I want to show you that as well. Because yeah, one of the things I'm knitting on, this is also already a work in progress for more than a year. And I don't think I've showed you already, but this was something I've been knitting on also in the holidays because it was a small project, easy to take with me, and it's on wooden needles. So we were in an airplane, and we were passing by some airports that I hadn't been yet, so I didn't know how their regulations were on knitting needles. So just to be sure, I wanted to have only wooden needles or bamboo knitting needles in my hand luggage. So that's why I took this on the planes and when we were waiting and traveling. And this is my Musselburgh hat. Oh, I don't have the pattern here, so I cannot show you the pattern, but it's a well-known pattern. It's a Musselburgh hat. It's like a hat where you knit a tube. So this is the first half of the tube, and this will be the second half of the tube. And when it's finished, you put both sides in each other, and then you have a double layered hat. It's a really nice design because you can use any yarn, any gauge for it. You just measure your gauge while knitting, so and then you calculate how many stitches you need and how long you have to knit the tube. I used 50 grams of this color. I don't know the name of the color anymore, but it's a Mominoki, the Japanese sock yarn brand. Which I once bought when I was in Amsterdam at Stephen and Penelope's shop. And then because that only was a 50-gram ball and I needed 100 grams at least for my Musselburgh, I'm now combining it with a white or almost white spickled yarn with which I dyed myself or spickled myself at a workshop at Wolmet-Verve in the Netherlands. And I used this yarn also in my festive yoke sweater where I talked about last time. And actually, I'm also using this yarn for the flower hearts in the cardigan. So I have 2 balls of that speckled yarn, and it's a great like neutral color, but still nicer than just white because it has these little speckles, and I thought it goes very well with the red of the Mominoki. And then because then when you fold the hat together, you will get a red hat with a white brim, or the opposite, you get a white hat with a dark red brim. So I thought that's fun. It's a fun combination that goes actually well. Yeah, so on my wooden Chaogu needles, still have quite some where to go. I think I still need to knit for another 15 centimeters. So it goes slowly on the way. at home, not so often that I work on it. It's more really a project for on the go, in a car, or yeah, while traveling, while waiting rooms, these kind of things. Yes, so the other thing I'm working on is crocheting. I'm crocheting little squares. You have here a bunch ready, different colors. I'm using leftover yarns that were donated to us for our yarn bombing project, because these are squares for our yarn bombing project. Egeri Farbik is the name of the project. Egeri is the name of our valley, and Farbik means colorful. And since a couple of years, me and my neighbor and friend Fiona are organizing these community yarn art projects. And we're currently working on our biggest one since we started. And meaning that in April, we will cover a full house, a big house here in town. One of the oldest houses, still in original state, that this town has. And it's a huge project. It's a big house, and we want to cover it completely with knitted and crocheted shingles. Shingles are traditionally little wooden plates, I would say, that they use to cover the ceilings and the roofs of the houses here, like the farmhouses or the old houses here in Switzerland. Wood was obviously a natural material that they have plenty of here. We have lots of forests, so it was always available. And then they cut it in these small, either square pieces or half round pieces, and they put them on the walls like on top of each other. So if it would rain, the water and snow, it would go down without getting into the walls. It was a really good also insulation layer, because it's wood breathes, and so there was always a little bit of air, which is an extra insulation layer. It kept the cold outside, it kept the heat inside the house, so it's also a very good insulation layer. And on top of that, something I learned was that these wooden shingles walls would stay up for more than 100 years before they had to replace them. And I don't think any other facade technique, even modern techniques, would last for 100 years without replacing it. So in that sense, it's a very sustainable, great way to cover houses. And that's also why they're still doing it. There's still houses being built here where this technique is used with wooden outside walls. And yeah, so that made us decide to put this technique in a colorful daylight, or say colorful podium, or to shine a light on this technique. And so we decided to knit and crochet together with the community enough shingles to cover that full house. We have been doing our calculations. In the beginning, we thought, we need 2,000 of these shingles, 15 by 15 centimeters. And then we got the original drawings of the house, and we recalculated again. And then we found out we need 4,000. So that's a lot. We need 4,000 of these little squares. So luckily, we have a bunch and really a big group of volunteers who are helping us. And that's also the aim actually of this project, is that everybody, as many people in the community help to knitting and crocheting to create this project, which is then also something the whole community can enjoy. And we have been calculating. Last weekend we counted again, and then we figured out we have already the first 2,000 have already arrived here, which means we're halfway, which is great, which also means we still have to work a lot. So I think at this point there's like 250 people to 300 people involved in knitting and crocheting for us. It's a lot of individual people, but also, and that's something I really like, is that some elderly homes from our town, but also from the towns around surrounding us are joining. We have a lot of older ladies, mostly ladies still, from town that are joining us, and especially in the winter we noticed that they really enjoy this project because it's when there's snow, a lot of older people don't get out of the houses because they are afraid to fall. And well, true, it's very good that they stay inside because it can be very slippery with all the ice and the snow on the streets. And then of course Switzerland is not flat, so you have an icy road which goes down or an icy road which goes up, which is even worse than a flat slippery road. So we also recommend these people to stay at home, and then they call me and say, oh, can you bring me some extra yarn, or can you pick up my shingles that I finished? And then I come there and I visit them, and they most of the time they invite me in their houses, and I get their life stories, and they show me all the things that they've knitted before. And that's really fun. And then I see you really do something for the community. You really see you make these people their day, and it's the first time for a lot of them, it's a long time ago that somebody was asking them to knit something, because a lot of these women have been knitting all their lives and knitting socks for the whole family. But I can imagine all these family members are a bit like, we would say fed up, but they say, okay, we have enough socks, so granny, I don't need any more socks. And now we come and say, can you knit for us shingles? And then they're like, oh yeah, and you can use any color, and the brighter the better. And then you see them like, oh, can I knit with pink and orange and yellow? And you see that it makes their day, and that's so fun to be part of, and that makes my day as well. So that's a good thing. It gives me the energy and the feeling that I'm on the right track with organizing all these things, and it makes their day that they can talk about yarn, and they meet people who talk about yarn, and that they can knit in bright colors, which they love, and somebody is really happy with what they produce. So so that's what we're doing now. I am like the central yarn point, I would say. So we get a lot of yarn donations for our project, but we also get some subsidies from the local communities, municipalities, because to support our project. And with this money, because the donations are often not enough to have everybody knitting, so I need to buy some yarn as well. And then we use this, I would say the cheapest acrylic yarns, because one, it's cheap, but B, especially for outdoor knitting, it's very good acrylic because it dries quickly and the colors stay good and don't fade that much in the sun. So I am like, if I'm I'm looking around here because this is my yarn depot at the moment. I'm just grabbing some things which are on the floor now. It's like, I'm not buying per ball, I'm buying per 10 or per 20 balls. And this is like coming in the house and going out of the house within days again. So it's like this we have these yarn baskets everywhere in town, and people can grab yarn, and I fill them up again with this with my stock here. So that's my yarn depot centrum at this moment. And then when the finished squares that we get, they go to my neighbor and friend Fiona, with whom I'm doing this. She's collecting all the finished squares, and she's now putting them together per color. And later on, we will start putting them together and sew them together so that we can get these panels of shingles, and those panels we will hang up at the house. So we're still looking for the exact way we are going to do this construction, but we're getting there. It will be something like that we put up nets or gitter. How do you call it in English? Sorry, I'm looking at the German word is gitter. Chicken wire? Is it wire? Yeah, so what you would put around where you have chicken, and you would put this around their area where they can walk. Is it chicken wire? I think it's chicken wire. So either netting, fishing netting, or bird netting, or wires that we put on the house, and then on top of that we sew are squares so that they will be stable, and that when it rains or snow that they don't come off, fall down. That would be terrible. So yeah. And then for the windows in the house, that's something I wanted to show you, because you might see that I have here. Some things be prepared. The windows we will not cover with these colorful shingles, but we will cover the windows with white panels, and then on that white panel we will have black silhouettes. We wanted to have something completely different, because the walls will be so colorful with all these little squares. We thought we have to have something different for the windows, so the windows will be white with black silhouettes, as if you are looking inside the house where the light is on and you see black silhouettes moving or things happening in the house. So we have a couple of people who are now knitting for us these white backgrounds. It's a combination of white and off-white, just also to show that it's still handmade. Every window is 90 centimeters by 140. So we calculated we need 4 of these pieces together, which make one window. And luckily we have a couple of knitters who love knitting straightforward pieces. So this is all knitted by one lady. Oh, she knitted many more. I think she knitted already 20 of these panels in 2 months. And yeah, so she enjoys making these, and we enjoy having those, because then we have other people who are making the black silhouettes. I don't have one here, but I will add photos of these silhouettes. And these silhouettes are all related to our town or our valley or the house. So something that happened in the house, or something which is related to the history of our town. For example, we have one which I will put in a photo, is a tower which is here in our valley. It's called the Moorgarten Tower, and the Moorgarten Tower is a very important historical monument, because it's there has been a battle in over 800 years ago on that spot, and that was the origin, the battle which led to the origin of Switzerland. Oh, that was a difficult way to say it. So Switzerland actually was founded during that battle. So it's a very important historical place for whole Switzerland, not just for here, but we are lucky that, that it is close by. So also for us, if we're in this valley, it's an important spot where a lot of tourists and schools and people interested in history come to visit. So this Moorgarten Turm is something we definitely wanted to have as a silhouette also on our house. So that will be there. We have way more ideas still to cover up other parts of the house and more details. And also having a few windows open that you can look inside of the house and have some yarn related things there. But I'm sure that will come up and I will show you about these things later. First, for us, it's important to get our 4,000 squares so that we are sure we can cover the whole house on the outside. And then next steps are the windows and the inside rooms, what we do want to do there. It's big. It's a big project. Takes a lot of time, but it's great. It's just lovely to do. Yeah. So that's that. What I wanted to show you, which is related to this project, and actually something I'm really proud of, is that we made it to an official knitting magazine. This is the Knitter. It's the German version of the well-known knitting magazine. And this magazine is, so a German version. So it's sold mostly in Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. It has a lot of knitting designs in there, and all other articles knitted related. But they also always have this in the beginning of the magazine. They have these few pages with news, I would say, like shorts, articles, and stories. And then look at this. This is the edition of January this year, and look. This is where we are. My name is actually in the Knitter. And that's just so cool. So this is here, you can see also the house that we're going to cover, and and a little story on what we are going to do and who we are and what the plan is, and that everybody can join knitting squares for us. And I must say, I noticed this was coming out first days of January, beginning of January, and we noticed immediately in our inbox that we got loads of emails from people all over Germany and Austria and other places in Switzerland that they said, yes, I read about your project and I want to join, and I'm already knitting squares, where can I send them to? And so it really, we noticed on our inbox that this was out. And it's just really fun to see that also real knitting, the real knitting world, let's say, also supports these kind of projects, which is yarn bombing, which is something not everybody supports, which I also understand, because a lot of people think it's a waste of time or a waste of money or a waste of material. But for us, we always very aware of these things, that we do it as much as possible with leftover yarns and donated yarn, so yarn that would not be used elsewhere. And what we do is we only keep the yarn bombing, so the items outside only for 6 to 8 weeks, 8 weeks maximum. And then we take everything down, we wash all the pieces, and then we recycle them in new items. So we will reuse these shingles, all these squares, after the project is done. We will reuse them and we'll make bags and blankets and cushions or any other item you can think of. And we will give them to the participants, so to all the volunteers who've been knitting with us. If they want one, they can get one. And if they don't want them, and if we have more, we will sell them, and the money will go to new art or yarn art or art related projects here in the community. So we are aware of that. We don't do this just to create more material or more things that are thrown away. So we really reuse all the pieces of our yarn bomb. And I think that's also why a lot of people do support our projects and actually enjoy our projects a lot as well. And I must, there's always, when you do something and you put your head out, there's always this 1 or 2% who is blaming you for doing something not so nice, but the other 99% is so enthusiastic and is getting so much out of it and enjoys it so much. And if I see how many comments and reactions we get of people that are so happy that we are organizing these kind of things, that's great. That keeps me going. But I'm always aware of also the downsides, and I try to work as much as possible around these to make sure that we don't do anything bad, let's say. So that was my the thing I'm actually most proud of this month, was that my name and our project is in this magazine. This is really like a highlight. Okay. Is that it? Oh yeah, no, of course. I was going to talk about the upcoming retreat. So I also talked about this already in the previous episodes. I'm organizing a knitting retreat. This is the first time I'm doing this, like a 3-day knitting retreat. It's from 26th of September to 29th of September this year, 2024. And so it's 3 nights, 3 days knitting with a bunch of people. I've organized a hotel with full board, so we have all the meals and everything there. And then each morning, 3 mornings, we will have workshops. I have 3 different workshops organized. I'm really excited about these. I will tell you about that in the next episode, probably, which ones they are. But these are all workshops of people that are really professionals. These are professional knitting experts or yarn experts. And then in the afternoons we have another program. We have free time, but also some program, which is knitting related, but also showing things of the area where we are, because I mean, people are traveling to Switzerland, some from abroad, some from within the country, and most of them have not been in this area before. So obviously when you come here, I want to show you also what is here. So we have the beautiful lake, we have the mountains, we have the woods, we have little towns, and I'm sure I want to make sure that you see all of that as well while you're here. Yeah, so that's the 3-day program. I'm putting everything together now. I think I need 2, max 3 more weeks to finalize my budget and know exactly what the costs will be. So then when I know that, I will open up registration. If you are already interested and you want to be sure that you don't miss the opening of the registration, send me an email on knittinginswitzerland@gmail.com. A lot of people have done this already, so I have already a list of people that are interested in coming, but there's still spots on the list. And then when I have everything and when I open up the registration, I will send an email to the people on this list first. So these people on the list have the first chance to register, and then I can have a maximum of 30 people who are coming. So if there's still spots left, then I will also share it on social media and here if you can register more. But the people who are on this list get the first chance to register. So if you want to be one of these people, if you want to say, yeah, I definitely want to come to this event, or I want to have a big chance that I'm with the first 30, then give me your name, and email address is actually most important. And then I can put you on the list and make sure you are one of the people that gets noticed when the registration opens at first. Yeah, so I guess that's it. I'm looking at the time already, pretty long that I'm talking. I will add some footage here of some of the wintry images I've been making the last week, and yeah, and if there is anything else you like me to talk about in the next episodes, let me know, because it's really fun for me actually to get these emails and reactions. And for example, last time there was someone who asked something about the painting which is behind me. She was asking if it was a photograph and which photographer or what print it was, and then I sorry, I had to disappoint her that it's not a photograph, it's a painting, actually a painting that a cousin of my mother made. She was a professional painter, and unfortunately she died, and then the family decided to keep the work, which was not sold yet, within the family. So everybody in the family who wanted a piece could get 1 or 2 or even more pieces. So this is one of her paintings, and I'm very proud of having one in my house, which also then for me is a feeling that this belongs to me, because it's been a family member who made it, and I really enjoy these peaceful, serene paintings, because there's already a lot going on in the house with, you know, when you have kids and all the colors of the toys, and then we have these big windows with all these views, and there's a lot of input. So the few walls that I have, I like to have like quiet, serene paintings, so that you have this quiet element opposite to the windows where there is a lot to see. So yeah, so that's an example of people reacting to my videos, and I'm like, oh yeah, of course I can talk about the painting. It was not something I thought about. But there's maybe more things you want to know about me, or about things you see around me, or what you hear me talking about. So let me know. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them. And of course, if I don't want to answer, I don't answer, but I guess I can always give an answer. So feel free to ask me anything. And maybe we can, but then I can talk about it then in the next episode. So, okay, that's it for today. Taking another sip. I think my tea is cold now. Still okay. And I'm looking forward to see you next time. Okay, bye-bye.